What's up, hybrids? Welcome back to another episode of the Fandom Hybrid Podcast. This is Hanako, and I am here with the OG crew, Mike, Anthony, and Lori. And it is a special occasion for the podcast. We are celebrating our 200th episode. Woohoo!
200.
I know, right? Cheers.
Yay!
Well,
And this is also special because it's been a while since we've had Lori on. Hi, Lori.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome
I'm
back.
still here. I'm glad to be back. I was
It's
like,
been
wait,
like
I'm still on the
it's
podcast,
like
right?
2 months.
I think
It
it's been
has
longer
been
than
2
that.
The last time I was on was episode 3 of House of the Dragon, I believe. Yeah,
Oh wow.
Oh, yeah. So it's been a minute.
it's been a while.
Yeah. So,
But, I'm good.
okay, good. I was gonna say, so how have you been? What you been doing? What you been watching?
Been watching Harley Quinn's. What is it, Mike? Season 4.
3 or 4,
Harley
yeah.
Quinn. Yeah.
It's like 3 or 4, yeah.
Love it. It is absolutely
incredible.
hysterical. Watching the Joker be a stepdad is hysterical.
Wait,
And by the
what?
way, oh yeah, you have to see it.
Yeah,
But
you gotta
Mike-
watch it.
Mike,
Yeah.
I will never see Court of Owls the same way again.
It's
There, and I'm
hilarious.
drinking water and I spit the water. I'm going, no, baby. I was like, oh my God. Other than that, let's see, what have I been watching? Nothing. I've been doing a couple of other different things, but I have been reading. Let's see, I just finished the new Alex Cross book, mainly because I like Alex Cross, but our boy Aldous Hodge from Leverage is going to be the new Alex Cross.
I
Yay!
saw
Yes,
that.
sir. Yes,
I
sir.
saw that, and look,
I'm
that-
excited about that. That's my favorite literary character is Alex Cross.
And
I
he's
remember
at
you
the
saying
right
that.
age. He's at the right age. He's 35, 36. He's right there. He's perfect. Let's see, what else have I been doing? Working out, trying to get myself into shape. I got an Apple Watch, yay! And that's been an interesting experience dealing with an Apple Watch, because I never knew that I needed to monitor my numbers on everything. Literally, I got a really fancy water bottle that tells me when I need to drink water. And here's something interesting. I have decided to up my game, and I am doing 5K now, virtually 5Ks. So I did one already. I have one on Thanksgiving Day, and I've got 2 virtual. I got a Santa run, and I have a summit climb run, and I'm doing my very first live 5K at Stanford Medical on April 30th of next year.
Oh, okay. Wait, you're getting out of the house?
Yes, I'm getting out of the house.
Like for
What?
real? For real? What?
Don't worry, I'll be masked up and all that. And let's see, the last thing that I've been doing. Oh yeah, I have been shamelessly buying everything holiday wise from Trader Joe's.
You know what?
I'm one of those people now. That's all. That's all me.
We need to get you out of the house. You need to get some nerd stuff done. Not that other stuff is cool. I'm very impressed with your, I look at your updates for Peloton and stuff, and I'm like, I'm so impressed.
I'm not allowed to buy any more Peloton apparel until next year.
Have you bought that much?
I may have bought a $60 sweatshirt just because it had a saying on the back. That's all I'm saying.
She drank the
Well,
Kool-Aid.
Yes, it did.
She did.
But that's a geek thing to do. I mean,
Yeah, this is true.
we'll buy $80 paintings because
Right.
it looks like it might be the Enterprise. So yeah.
Oh God. Well, one of my friends went to New York Comic Con, and they, of course, they come back with all the pictures of all the different toys and stuff. And I will say this about New York Comic Con. I was not impressed with some of the figures that they've got coming out, because I'm looking at this and going, okay, you guys, everyone sat down for like 2.5 years this time. You guys couldn't come up with better designs. The Spider-Man looks horrible. The Black Panther stuff is barely acceptable. And I'm just looking at some of the Funkos, and I'm going, wow, either you guys have no longer have imagination, or you just expect, people to just buy anything. I mean, the Galactus, was the Galactus that came out a couple of weeks ago. I think Julian Lytle did like a review of it. The thing's cute, just like 2.5 feet tall. That's the only figure that I've seen in the last couple of years is absolutely gorgeous. Everything else is ugly. So
I didn't even look. I was a little bit bummed that I wasn't going to New York Comic Con this year. So I really didn't like, I watched some of the coverage, but as far as like the merchandise and stuff, I haven't paid attention because I haven't really been buying much lately in terms of merchandise. I had to kind of put a pause on my Funkos because I was like, I don't have anywhere to put them. But it's kind of good that we put a pause on it because now Anthony is taking it up, even though he said he would never. How many do you have now, Anthony?
5, I think.
That's
they're
good.
all
We gotta work on
T'Challa.
that.
Yeah.
All Black Panthers.
Yeah.
You gotta get caught up. I got at least 80.
Well, I put
we probably got twice as many.
Yeah, I
have the
130
Shuri as Black Panther is on my wish list. So
okay.
We'll see.
So how was Black Panther? Still haven't seen it yet.
So
amazing.
I'm editing that episode now, but yeah, I was sitting here. We were really bummed. We were like, okay, Lori needs to go back to the movies so that she can be on these podcasts with us because it was amazing.
I have 2 coworkers who are waiting patiently for that episode to drop.
Tell them.
I know which 2 they are too.
Probably Carlos and Nick.
Actually, it's 2 other ones.
Oh, really? Okay.
So.
Okay. Cool.
Well, we know we can count on Carlos and Nick to be waiting,
right.
But yeah.
Right.
Duh, yeah.
But speaking of that episode, Lori, do you see Anthony's screen name?
Oh, jeez,
it says 2 days since last theory. He actually came up with a theory while we were discussing Black Panther.
I'm so proud. It's like I'm tearing up just thinking about it. Like I'm watching the beginning of Black Panther again.
Does it include Dr. Doom and maybe Reed Richards?
That was mine.
Yeah, that was Mike's. I'm trying to remember, what was your theory, Anthony? Because we talked about so much.
I don't remember. We talked about so much.
Really?
Okay, so this is what I do. Once I get to that part, Lori, I'll put it in the group chat so you can hear it, or so you can see what it is. But yeah, he made a theory, and we were like, "Wait, can you clarify? Like, are you saying that? Like, can you repeat yourself?" And he was like, "I have a theory." We were like, "What?"
Okay, we can move on in the discussion. Let's move on.
Guys, they just put on CNN, Twitter closes office buildings, suspends employee access. Wow. Since we started the podcast up, I've been more active on Twitter because, I was active on Twitter like 12, 13 years ago. And then kind of fell off and would only check in for a little while. And then once we started the podcast, I, kind of got back on, and I've been interacting with like a lot of people from like Walking Dead fandom and, just other fandoms. I have been watching this shit show for the last, week and a half now. It has to be 2 weeks. This man lost his damn mind.
God.
It's like, did he buy it just to shut it down?
It seems like it.
That's what it seems like.
It does.
I'm because I live in the Bay Area and because everything is based around, social media and everything like that. I'm fascinated, because if I really wanted to, I could get in my car, drive about 30 minutes and actually, see what's going on, because one of the main buildings actually at Twitter is about 1.5 miles from my house. So I could just, 10 minutes. And Apple's right around the corner and Yahoo's 8 blocks away from where I live. So I'm in the middle of everything. Facebook, the whole thing. Amazon, the whole thing. So I'm like, okay, so if they close the buildings and they basically restricted everyone's access and they fired everyone and now they hired them back and now they're saying they're fired again, I'm wondering what is that going to do to the people who actually live in Silicon Valley like I do? Because right now they're laying off people from Facebook, any social media. I hear that DoorDash and Instacart, they're still holding on, but they're basically, for what people are telling me, on their last leg.
Wow.
It's just, I'm stunned because I'm like, well, I was here 20-something years ago when they had that tech bubble burst. My ex-husband was one of those contract workers, IT, and he had a headhunter and, he would get recruited in about a span of 3 years. He worked for Adobe, Tandem, Apple, Microsoft, Yahoo, then he went back to Apple, then he went back to Tandem, then he did the circuit basically.
Mm-hmm.
And when the tech bubble, right before it hit, now this is 20 something years ago, they were offering him huge amounts of money back then. I think they were offering him like $80 an hour or something like that. One company was offering like $120 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is when it broke, when I say that we have just now in the last year gotten and torn down all these tech buildings that they built brand new office buildings everywhere for the last 20 years, all up and down San Jose, Sunnyvale, Cupertino, Cambridge, nothing but empty high-end office buildings, empty, and have been empty for years. And that's going to happen with Twitter. And if some of these things with Facebook is that they're going to fire these people, they're not going to hire new people, and we're just going to be walking around in towns with all these expensive apartments that they built that no one's going to live in because rent starts at like $3,500, and that's being conservative. In fact, the apartment complex half a block away from me, I was just curious. For a one bedroom, one bath apartment, it's $4,500 a month.
Jeez, that's ridiculous.
That's cheap.
And people wonder why I will never leave Atlanta.
The people who live down the street, they have a concierge apartment, which is a doorman, grocery store, a dry cleaner, that sort of thing. Those rents for those apartments are currently starting between $7,000 and $8,000 a month.
Hell no. Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
I want to know why the hell would I pay $9,000 a month and not be paying a mortgage instead? That's all I'm saying.
Go get you a house in the high country.
Exactly.
Don't mess with that.
Absolutely not.
Or the low country.
Exactly. Or some country. Anyway, that was my interjection rant. Sorry, I just saw that on the news.
That's okay. Okay, so let's talk about some geek stuff. Since this is just a celebration of our 200 episodes, we're just gonna kind of talk about whatever. Now, technically speaking, I will say this is not actually our 200th episode. We've actually recorded more than 200 episodes. It's just that this is the one that will actually get posted because I'm still editing. We still have a little bit of a backlog. It's not bad, but it's very time consuming. And unfortunately, I have a job that I have to go to. So that kind of puts me behind. But
it would be different if you had a job where you could edit at the same time. But I've been in your office, and that phone and the door and the phone and the door.
And the people coming in and out. It's no. I wish. Like there used to be times when I could be in my office and things would be actually slow. And I might have my laptop and I could probably get like 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. Not that bad. But now, nope, it's not happening. But the good thing is I do still get to talk a lot of geek talk. Like literally this week, everybody who has walked in my office has been like, did you go see Black Panther? I'm like, do you not follow me on social media? They were like, oh yeah, I saw your pictures.
Do you know who I am?
Do you know who I am? Of course I went. But that was the one we all got to go together, everybody except for Lori, because Lori is on the other side of the country and all the rest of us are here in Atlanta except for Casey right now. She's kind of traveling for work. So she's in Florida right now with janky internet, which is why she is not on this. Anthony, where's Michelle?
That was a fun night. She's floating around somewhere.
Tell her she has to stick her face in the frame to say happy 200th at some point.
Maybe she'll shout you out. You gonna give a shout out?
Nope.
Holla, 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 holla.
Y'all can catch her on the Walking Dead episodes, guys.
Yep. Walking Dead episodes. We are almost done. Oh my God. This weekend is the finale for the main flagship show. And,
are you okay?
I'm I'm kind of sort of okay, just because I know we have spinoffs coming.
She said, Michelle said you're not okay.
I'm okay for right now. I think it will really hit me once I get on the plane Saturday to go to LA, because Casey and I are going to the finale event that they're having in LA. And we'll get a chance to go to the live taping of Talking Dead.
You tried to get Michelle to go.
We tried to get Michelle to go, but Michelle's been doing some stuff. She went on a solo cruise, and she came to the camp with us, and y'all still have a young person at home. So Thanksgiving week, y'all still got to do stuff. I got grown folks. I'm like, are y'all coming over for Thanksgiving? They're like we just, as we've gotten older and we learn more about the origins of certain traditions, we just kind of fell out of that. So we're going to my sister-in-law's for dinner just because, for family gatherings, but we don't really do the holidays like that. So I can pick up and go to LA and be cool. So that's what we're doing on Saturday. So I think once I get to LA on Saturday, we'll have Saturday to kind of walk around and do stuff. I think Sunday, once I'm in the line, and once I start seeing the stars arrive for the red carpet, I think then it'll hit me. And I think at that point, I might be a mess. And then depending on who shows up, because they've said to expect guests, cast members from season 1 all the way through the current season. We know a lot of the stars from the current season will be there that night for the red carpet. They're going to watch, we're all going to watch the finale together. They're releasing it at the same time, so no one gets spoiled, supposedly. And I'm just, there are a few other faces I would like to see. And if I see them, then yes, I'm probably going to lose my shit, and Casey will probably record it. But
you can record Casey's face
now,
when she sees Deny.
Huh? You
gotta record Casey's face when she sees Deny.
Oh, absolutely. That will absolutely be a thing. I might live stream that shit. Look at her falling apart. Her katana mama is here. I kind of have a feel. I'm hopeful that she will be there and that Andy Lincoln will be there, because they have a spinoff to promote. Oh. And Black Panther press, I believe, has concluded. So it's not like she'll be needed for that. So yeah, she can just come on. They can let us borrow her for a night. That would be great if that happens. Like you said, Casey would definitely lose her shit. So I'm hoping that will happen just for her sake. I really hope that will happen. But that would be cool. But yeah, I think once I'm there and once I'm kind of around other fans that I've connected with on Twitter who are going to be there, and we all get to talking and seeing stuff, I think then it might hit me. I was kind of the same way with Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. I was actually in New York for the premiere, the domestic premiere of it, and it was
part 1 or part 2.
I believe it was part 1.
Okay.
Because it was in November. It was literally 24. I can't remember, but it was this week. And just remembering how that was and getting to see the red carpet arrivals and everything and hearing the fans cheer. And it was a great experience. And I didn't think I'd ever do something like that again, but here we are. Mm-hmm. So right now I'm okay. Ask me again on Sunday. I might be a mess, but
speaking of that, can we go back to the Black Panther thing that we all went to?
Yes.
It was really good group therapy to all be together. Some of us cried more than others.
You know what? I'm not believing your lies.
I told you that in confidence. You're going to have to stop calling me out on that.
I'm not believing your lies.
Leave me alone.
I believe Anthony cried. He just don't want to tell anybody. And I couldn't see him because Michelle was sitting in between me and Anthony.
I did not cry. This is put that out there. I did not cry. Mm-hmm. But it was amazing time, amazing event. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
It was. was hosted by MCU ATL, which is the local MCU fan group. They do a lot of the early screenings here. I've gone to I think I went to Doctor Strange. I went to Thor, Love and Thunder.
Went to No Way Home.
Yeah. And I think I've done one more with them. So shout out to MCU ATL for having these screenings. We get together and have a good time with other fans. And it was so nice that night.
They did Black Widow with them too, right?
I believe so. That might have been it.
Yeah.
But it was nice last week to go to Black Panther because seeing everybody in there all white, like literally there were 3 events going on in the theater that we were at. We were at the Atlantic Station Regal Theater. They had 3 different private events going on, and you just walk through the lobby and you just see all of this white.
Yeah.
And it really kind of made me emotional because I know that, people put that out months ago. Hey, we're going to wear all white in honor of T'Challa and in honor of Chadwick Boseman. Mm-hmm. And I know I was looking at some of the premiere photos and, just listening to chatter. And some people were like, yeah, I think I'm going to do it. And no, I've actually had some people say, you're actually going to wear white. It's after Labor Day. I was like, since when do I care about that kind of stuff?
I don't give a fuck.
I know.
It's like I am the sloppiest person in the world, and I wore white.
And you are not sloppy.
I am terrible. If I wear white, it's like I'll take 2 steps and I'll already have something on my pants. I'll be like,
man, we were also paranoid that night.
Man,
people trying to eat popcorn all covered up with the shirts.
Man,
I still got butter on my sleeve too. I was like, how'd I get?
Did you?
Yeah, man.
Oh, and then we went to IHOP afterwards. So I
didn't get it. The ironic thing is, I didn't get any IHOP on me, but I
got good because I think we were all eating like
this.
Like everybody had pancakes and syrup. We were all
Mike goes, I want blueberry syrup, and I'm like, okay.
We all looked at Mike like, oh, you a bold motherfucker, ain't you?
See, now I'm jealous. Okay.
See, this is why you need to come to Atlanta.
I know. Last time I went to IHOP after a movie, it was after one of the Harry Potter movies, and went at like 4:00 in the morning.
Yeah, IHOP is a good place to do that because, at least pre-pandemic. Now, post-pandemic, it's kind of hard to find one that's open 24 hours now. There's not a lot. This one, I think we came out of the movie theater. It was like close to 11 o'clock. So, and luckily the one that we went to downtown was a 24-hour IHOP. So we were able to go in and sit. But yeah, that's kind of like a tradition.
Didn't know
when
that.
Friends and I have gone to the movies, we always go out to eat, and a lot of times we do IHOP because again, IHOP is one of the places that's open later than most of the restaurants here. And IHOP is one of those things, one of those places where you can just go and just kind of chill and enjoy some food and enjoy some company and enjoy, depending on which one you go to, enjoy some music. Because the one that I usually go to near my side of the town, they always play 80s music. Is nothing but 80s music. And my best friend and I used to go there before she passed. And every time we would go and I would start dancing, she would just be like, oh, here she go again. So it's a good experience. It's a lot of fun. And we did have a lot of fun that night. And we got to talk about the movie, but it was so funny because of course we went on Thursday and the movie didn't officially open until Friday. So we're in IHOP and we're whispering because we don't want people to hear what we saying. We didn't want to spoil anybody. We were so considerate. Because we were so excited and we had a lot to say about that. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah. I can't wait to do that again. When is the next Marvel movie? The next one is what?
Ant-Man.
Is it Ant-Man? And that's what, February, right?
Something like that, yeah.
That would be the first movie of Phase 5.
Yep.
I mean, the Guardians, the holiday special is coming on Disney Plus soon.
I'm like so excited for that. Have you seen that trailer?
And Kevin fucking Bacon is canon.
When I tell you, when I saw that trailer and they talked about going to get Kevin Bacon, I paused and I was like, they didn't. They couldn't. They didn't.
It's like him running and them like jumping and like wee, like beside him.
When I say hilarious. I felt like I was at work watching this and I had to remember that I was at work. And then, of course, my coworkers who are also Marvel fans, they're like, what are you laughing at? I was like, Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. The trailer came out. Come, my children, let's watch together.
Yes, let's revel in the joy that is Drax and Mantis.
Right. So I have I'm sitting at my desk. I have 3 people standing behind me. All of us are watching and all of us are sitting there grinning. And we're like, yeah, this is going to be a fun ride. I can't wait for that. I'm so excited. Kevin Bacon, really? Oh, that's almost, well, I don't know. It's kind of up there, but I was going to say that's almost as good as the fact that we're getting Wolverine in the next Deadpool movie.
It's only going to be, I don't know how many times
we're not
going through this. He's going to be
a minute or two.
We are not.
He's going to be in there at least as much as Cable was. So that's still about 5 minutes.
It's not going to be as much as Cable.
I also heard a rumor that X-23 is supposed to be in there.
But yeah, I also
she
heard
might be in there 5 minutes.
That Mephisto is going to be in there too.
You know what?
No, Mephisto's going to be in Ironheart. Mephisto is confirmed to be in Iron.
We shall see. We shall see. But let's see. What else have we been doing? We've been conventioning.
Mm-hmm.
We did Dragon Con this year. We sat on panels and let's see, we did Conjuration. We sat on panels. We did panels together and that was fun. I think, let's see, I think Anthony has been increasing his panel experience this year, but you say you don't know if you're going to continue to do that because you're missing all the other stuff.
Yeah, I'm missing the panel, like the WandaVision panel you did. I missed that panel. I would have liked to have seen that panel.
That was a good panel.
Saying, I'm going to have to be a little bit more discriminating when it comes to the number of panels I'm on.
Right.
I guess I don't mind it as I don't mind it as much at Dragon Con, but I think I mind it a little bit at Conjuration.
Probably because Conjuration is smaller. Yeah. So there's not as many, because at Dragon Con, you kind of know, it's a running joke between Dragon Con people that when the app comes out, we already know within 5 minutes of perusing, we're going to have at least 10 scheduling conflicts already because they do so many panels.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, a lot of the big panels are you already know Saturday at 10 o'clock, Friday at 10 o'clock, Sunday at 10 o'clock. Those are all big name panels. The same at 3 o'clock, 5. So it's certain times when you just know, okay, you know what? I already know I'm about to have some conflicts and I'm just going to have to do this. I'm just going to have to blindly pick which one I'm going to go to. But yeah, Conjuration is a little bit smaller, so I can understand that.
And I have a sneaky suspicion that after this last Conjuration, we're going to be in somewhat of a demand on some of the panels. I feel it.
I agree.
I would go with that. Yes.
because I had people who I didn't even know come and be like, "Hey, you were in that." The diversity one, we had such a big response for.
Mm-hmm.
Someone just stopped me in Conjuration, hey, you were on the diversity panel. I was like, yeah. That was a great panel. I was like, thank you. It's awesome. And then we stopped to chat for a minute. So I'm like, yeah, we're probably going to be that one and the what was the other one? There was another one.
The Phantom Funerals.
That one too. Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
because that one grew immensely from when we did it before.
Yeah, I think we had a better time slot too as well, because we're also competing with the entertainment, because they have live entertainment there, and the live entertainment is good. Even if you're walking past and you can hear them, it's really good. So yeah, I understand that. There is another convention coming up in February, which is ATL Comic Convention. It used to be two separate cons. It used to be Fandemic Tour, which was mostly Walking Dead, and then Atlanta Comic Con, which was only a few years old itself. And then I don't know the behind the scenes stuff, but they merged. So now they're ATL Comic Convention, and they will be here at the end of February. So I will be going to that. I did also submit a panel idea. So we'll see if that gets accepted. And if so, I'll be talking Walking Dead stuff.
One of us is going to MomoCon next year.
Yes, Mike won free tickets to MomoCon at the Black Panther screening. Was it 2 tickets that you won?
I think I won
two 4-day passes. It was 2 4-day passes. Yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Michelle's already like, great. So I might be taking one of y'all.
Oh, that's cool.
Congrats on that. That's actually a cool con.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I've never been.
Yeah, I went once on a Saturday. It was pretty cool.
I think I went once when the kids were younger. Maybe. I can never remember if it was that one or if it was Anime Weekend Atlanta, because both of them are kind of similar. They deal with a lot of anime. I think MomoCon has a lot of gaming stuff with that too. But anime, I watched some of it, but not enough for me to be like, oh yes, I'm going to MomoCon, because I would be sitting there like, okay, so what are you guys talking about? I can't get sucked into anything else. My life is already busy and complicated as it is. I can't.
Quick question. Of any con that you could go to as a dream con, it's not your ish, but you would go in a heartbeat. For me, Gen Con. I would be in Indiana so fast it wouldn't even be funny.
Who is Jen and why does she have a con?
Gen Con, okay, you've heard of Knights of the Dinner Table, right? The comic book?
Yeah.
You've heard of Gary Gygax? You've heard of Dungeons and Dragons?
Yes.
It's
I'm
basically
familiar.
It's basically an entire weekend convention devoted to tabletop gaming. And
I was about to say Mike's face just changed.
Exactly. And it's in Indiana, and it's called
Gaming,
Gen
you
Con,
say?
and it's nothing but, and we're talking, in fact, there's a documentary on it. You can look it up on Netflix. Let's just put it this way. If you are a tabletop nerd, you will be in heaven. That Gary Gygax is considered a god. I mean, it's literally nothing but tabletop gaming. And they all wear cosplay. So if I had to choose one dream con to go to, it'd be Gen Con.
That sounds interesting. I think we have something similar here.
Well, shoot, if you just go to Dragon Con, if you've ever gone to the gaming area, though they do not leave that area. I mean, they went from having a whole floor to, I think they have pretty much a whole building at Amerismart.
Well, they do the building is for all gaming. So you have the tabletop gaming, you have they bring in old 80s arcade games.
Yeah, and I think the LARPing is there too. They have a whole building over there.
Yeah.
So if you want to immerse yourself in some gaming, that you can do that at Dragon Con too, but whatever.
Yeah, and then there's also a convention here. I think it's the Southern Fried Gaming Convention.
The Southern Fried Gaming Convention
that I have looked at. I'm like, I think I want to go, just because I'm not a huge gamer, but I am a fan of like the old stand-up video games and arcade games.
Whenever I talk to Nick, he always brings that up. We should have him on the show to talk about Southern Fried Gaming.
Oh, then we need to do that then.
Yeah.
That actually sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm one of those people that all 4 years of high school, every day at lunch for 4 years, I played D&D. Our senior year, we decided to do superheroes, but I played tabletop gaming every day at lunch for all through high school. I'm one of those people.
Okay.
But any type of gaming con is something that I've always wanted to do, never had opportunity. Mark is not a gamer at all. I mean, he did a little bit of video games back in the day, but that's not his thing. But I've always known that there's slightly different vibe and feel than if you go to, say, an anime con or a comic book con or a TV, whatever type of con. The other type of con that I have never gone to, and there's two actually. One is I would love to go to a Doctor Who type of a con. And then the thing that you, Hanako, keep trying to get everybody to do is the Star Trek cruise. I would lose my mind.
No, I'm trying to think. It's not the Star Trek one that I was talking about. There was something else.
Well, that's the one you keep sending me stuff on.
And I send that to you because I know how you are about Star Trek.
Oh, okay. I was like, she thought that in the Star Trek.
She's not doing that for her benefit. She's doing that for you.
I'm doing this.
All right.
I'm doing this for you. What is it?
Okay.
You know, I'm the pusher of the group. Like I have to indulge in everyone's.
This is true. Because I kept telling
That's why she keeps sending me pop stuff every time, every day.
Because I'm going to Mark. Go, Mark, she sent me another thing again. I don't know. She keeps sending me the Star Trek cruise stuff.
No, if I do any kind of star-based cruise, I know that they do have a Walking Dead cruise that I have been looking at. Oh, you know, I didn't mention that to Casey and Michelle.
They're bringing back the Lord of the Rings cruise.
Oh no! See,
they used to have one.
No.
Yeah, they used to have one. Supposedly it's coming back.
No. See, because then I would never see my husband.
New Zealand, it's gonna have like, all the. It includes like tours to the locations.
I never see my husband.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah. Michelle says there's an Outlander cruise too.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. I was like, ooh.
If there was a convention that I want to go to, it would be Celebration. I've never been to Celebration.
Been to Celebration. It was almost as awesome as you think it would be, but at the same time, it was also even more crowded than you think it would be.
Yeah. It would either be Celebration or D20. I guess next year will be D23 or
D23. Mm-hmm. No, Celebration. I went once, and I will say that I think I stood in line more in that convention than any other convention, even though I saw cool stuff. But when I say that they would fight you hand and foot for anything, we went to the Funko store about 3:00 in the afternoon, and it was like a desert island. There was like one Boba Fett left.
I was trying to remember. I remember you telling us about.
Oh, it was horrible.
Celebration, but I don't remember you telling us about the Funko store.
Funko store was completely deserted. I went to her universe and they had there was this woman that was making and selling Jabba the Hutt cupcakes, and it had been sitting on the stand, so the icing was oozing down the side. It was $8.
Oh man.
But no, Celebration in Anaheim, it was in the Anaheim Convention Center, which is right next to Disney. And the only thing that saved it from being a really bad food con, and you know what I mean by that, is that the second day, they got the brilliant idea of bringing in like 10 food trucks in that little concave circle area in front of Anaheim Convention Center. And that saved everyone. But you want to talk about the biggest convention center that I have ever been in my entire life is the Anaheim Convention Center. This sucker is huge. It's like 5 stories. Like, it's huge. And it was so big, we never even got to the 3rd floor, which is where they had the swap meets and all that stuff. We never even got there. We did the 1st floor, we did the 2nd floor. We met John Jackson Miller, who was an asshole. We went and saw the.
I do remember that part of the conversation.
I remember that story.
Oh yeah, and then of course we got to see the last 3 unfinished episodes of the Clone Wars, which is what I really wanted to see. But it was a magical experience. I mean, I didn't get to see George Lucas. I was actually in line at the Hilton, wrapped around the hotel, trying to get into the convention center when they did the panel. We all had our phones. But if you can go to Celebration, especially if it's in Anaheim, I highly, highly recommend it. Now, be prepared to sell a kidney or at least your firstborn, because good tickets start at $750, and those are decent good tickets. Those aren't uber good tickets. I think I paid $700 each for just the tickets, and never ever use their hotel system, because I was at the Marriott, and by the time they got done shuffling me around, I stayed at a hotel that had rust in our bathroom sink. Okay, that's how bad it was. Just get your own, get an Airbnb. Just do it that way. But
look, the only thing I've lashed on to with all of that, like really thought about, was the fact that she just reminded me that there is a Funko store in Los Angeles.
There you go.
Oh no, she's gonna catch an Uber down.
I'm looking for things to do on Monday because my flight does not leave until midnight, and Casey's flight leaves at like 12 something. So I'll be in Los Angeles all afternoon with nothing to do. So I'm trying to find things to do. I know that they're opening the Titanic exhibit this weekend. So I was like, oh, I may go there.
Let us know if you go to the Funko store.
I probably will.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
The only thing that I would suggest that if you can't find anything to do is, I don't know what the COVID protocols, but if you could do one of the studio tours of the, like the studios, I've heard those are actually pretty cool. I've never been, but
okay.
So we got Gen Con for me, we got Celebration for Anthony. Hanako, you said what?
I honestly don't know, because I've actually decided I was going to put together a list of all the conventions that I want to go to and do like a convention bucket list, because there are some that I want to go to. I want to do Fan Expo Dallas. I was supposed to do that in March of 2020, right before the pandemic. I want to do New York Comic Con. I want to do Emerald City. At some point, I want to do San Diego Comic Con just to say I've done it and get it out the way.
Just to check it off the list.
Right, just to check it off the list. There are some other very show-specific conventions that I want to do, but they're done through creation and they're so ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
So
I want to go to the Game of Thrones one.
Okay, now
there's one in December.
Sister Speak, they went to the one that was at the Gaylord Convention Center in Nashville? Because they asked them to come and do a panel.
Okay.
And they basically said that it was nothing but a large vendor room with maybe 3 panels besides theirs. They said it was the most horribly put together convention ever. This was in the height
for creation?
Oh no, for Game of Thrones.
Oh, I know, but creation is doing the Game of Thrones panel.
Now they're doing it. Now,
okay.
Before, this was HBO did their own independent Game of Thrones celebration. This is right.
I remember that.
Yes, and it was a horrible convention. They said it was the worst. Well, that, and if you want to know, go look up Sister Speak and go to check out their podcast. It's a 3-hour podcast about their experience at the Game of Thrones convention, and they have a very hysterical 45-minute story about going to get Nashville hot chicken. It's hysterical. But the thing is that when they were invited at the time, because they were one of the top Game of Thrones podcasts, they got there at the Gaylord. And the first thing that they noticed is that they didn't have their stuff that they sent. They didn't have their table, didn't have the booth. They were on the outskirts of the convention center room, and it was in a ballroom. And it was basically set designers, grips, and people who were like, secondary people who had tables hawking their services. And the only Game of Thrones thing that they had was actual costumes. And I think they had like no one from the actual cast was actually at the convention. It was a horrible, horrible experience. And it was put together by HBO.
Well, I was thinking of the Ice and Fire convention that I forgot her name. We were on the panel with her at Dragon Con. It's the convention that she does in Ohio. That's the Deer Lodge in Ohio. That's the one I want to go to.
That one's going to be, I think, I want to say March or April, but April. Creation is also doing an quote unquote official Game of Thrones convention. That one is in December in Los Angeles. It's the first one through Creation. So they'll probably do a couple of those a year as long as they can get people there. But they are doing a supernatural convention here in Atlanta. So I feel kind of obligated to go because I missed it the last time it was here.
Obligated.
I do.
Okay, Creation. Okay, first of all, I have bought tickets and gone to their Star Trek conventions a few times through them. And I had bought tickets to the Vampire Diaries, but they canceled it. I want to say that they like to rip off people, because the first year I got Star Trek tickets, I got the silver. And the silver wasn't the greatest tickets, but it's guaranteed seating. The next year I got gold, and my gold tickets were one row behind the silver tickets I had bought the year before. Okay.
That's weird, because gold is supposed to be like front row.
Front row, exactly. The guests were decent, but I bought tickets I was so excited because they announced it 2 days before the convention that the entire cast, except for Patrick Stewart was going to be TNG was going to be at the convention. Okay, so I buy tickets online to get it. I get there, and they tell us, well, we got to pay an extra $35 per person to get the little name tag on our wrist to get in line to show them my scanned tickets that I already pre-bought for the panel. So I had to pay twice to get in to see the panel with TNG. Okay, these create that. I know they do Vampire Diaries. I knew they do. They used to do Stargate. They've done all the fan favorites and stuff once upon a time. But I'm telling you right now, half the time they cheat and they overcharge. And I hope their service is better because they do cool stuff, but they need to get their ish right.
Yeah, like I said, I'm going because it's going to be here in Atlanta. It's Supernatural, and I've done a Supernatural convention before that was not creation. It was run through some friends of mine. They used to do a convention called Icon.
Yes,
and
I remember that.
Okay,
yeah.
So I've been to a Supernatural and a Vampire Diaries convention through them. I'm so sad that they're no longer doing conventions, but the pandemic just kind of screwed things up for people. But
you'd have to hold my wallet, Hanukkah, if we ever went to a Vampire Diaries convention. You know this, right?
So there was one here last month, and it was called I Was Feeling Epic. And they had pretty much the whole fucking cast here.
Oh God, see.
And they're doing it again in April. And I was gonna send you the link until I saw the prices for it. And I was like, I don't know if I would do this because it's so it's expensive. Just the packages that they have for you to get in, they're way expensive. And then you still have to pay extra for like photo ops and autographs. On top of the $4,000-$8,000 that you're spending to get in, and whatever package that is. I was like,
did you not hear me say I paid like over $700 and I've actually paid $1,500 for Celebration? Did you not hear me say that I've paid these prices before?
I understand that. I understand that.
What were you doing? Seeing Taylor Swift? Damn.
No, it was Celebration. It was Celebration.
No, seriously. Some of those conventions, like I know for creation, for the Supernatural convention here in Atlanta, right now, they only have gold tickets on sale. Yeah. And the gold packages, is basically you get the, I think you get the autographs for both Jared and Jensen included. And I think you may get a photo op. You included with somebody else, not Jared and Jensen. You have to pay for those.
You're guaranteed 2 photo ops, an autograph, and guaranteed seating. That's the standard for Create That.
Yeah. Right? And that ticket is like $1,200.
Right. Yeah. Because if you go to the big show Star Trek convention in Las Vegas, the good tickets start at $2,500. And that's bronze. That's bronze.
They can keep all that.
Yeah.
I'm in the shallows as far as all that's concerned.
There's only so much a person is willing to go, and I'm not willing to go that far.
I'm still cringing at the little $150 I got to pay for friggin' Dragon Con. I'm over here struggling for Conjuration to find panels that I'm kind of interested in just so I can get a free ticket. I kind of know about that. Yeah, I'm getting on that one. Yeah.
Well, okay. Here's the thing, and this is especially true if you're going to a name brand, meaning Star Trek, Star Wars. I'm just throwing that out. This is the thing that I found with going to cons. If you know a good 2 years out that you're going to go, that's when I start saving. Like for Celebration, isn't every year. Celebration is like every 2 years, every 3 years. Soon as I find out the date, find out that it's somewhere I want to be, I start putting $50 here, $20 here, $100 here, and I gradually save up the money. So when it comes to taking my money, I could actually put it down.
Yeah.
But the problem is your autographs and your photos. Now, when I had the Star Trek one a few years ago, I literally spent, I think I told Hanukkah, I spent a year saving 20 here, 40 here, because when I paid for it, I got like autographs of everyone in TNG main cast, and I got photos, and those were 50 to 60 to $70 a pop. But I also had ramen noodles for a year.
So there are other things that I like to do during the time between.
Yeah. Because I like the photo ops and I like the autographs, so I don't mind. Yeah, so I don't mind saving the money. And now that I know, especially because of I went to Fandemic earlier this year, and I said, it was mostly Walking Dead people. Dragon Con had a lot of Walking Dead people this year, and usually, like when it comes to Dragon Con, there, I'll kind of look at the list of people that are coming now, say, okay, I'll pick maybe one or two people, and then I'll, that's who I'll do my autographs and photo ops with, because that's kind of my thing. I like doing that. But now, since they're starting to do these smaller conventions, but with these names like ATL Comic Convention, I know that they're going to have some. They're going to have some Star Wars people. They're going to have some Walking Dead people. Like I know they've already announced Giancarlo Esposito. Daniel Logan is coming. Michael Cutlass from The Walking Dead. So, now that I know that to start looking for that kind of stuff, I'm like, okay, I know as I watch the guest list, okay, I know this is who I'm going to want to, take a picture with or get an autograph with. And you can kind of estimate what their prices are going to be based on other conventions that you've been to. Right. The Camp, which is a Walking Dead meet and greet event that Casey and Michelle and I went to last month, that is mainly Walking Dead people, but they also have had some people from Supernatural there. They've had some people from The Mandalorian there. And I know that this is mainly what their guest list is going to look like. So I already know in May, I have 6 months. I have roughly 7 months to start planning to put my money to the side, because I already know they're going to have like a shit ton of Walking Dead people. And I'm going to want to get, I'm going to want to do the autograph and photo op thing. So
well, to branch off of that, let's go into the failed experiment that I actually thought might have worked. Heroes and Villain Con. Remember they had it split where on one side you could go see superheroes, and then they had Walking Dead on the villain side. But for some reason, San Jose made you buy a separate ticket if you wanted to get a photo or autograph with the cast of Gotham. That made no damn sense. Okay.
Well, see, I've been to, I was at Heroes and Villains Atlanta the last year that they were here.
Okay.
And it was a different experience, but I actually enjoyed it because the way that they have it set up, you walk into the room, they had it at the World Congress Center.
Okay.
And you walk into the room and it's literally this big open space, and you have the vendors in one spot, and you have like the booth, the celebrity booth. So the Walk of Fame, which is what we call it. And then the main stage is actually out in the open. It's just enclosed off so that if you want to be part of, the panel, you can actually sit in that space. But if you don't want to sit, if you still want to walk around and just kind of do things, then you can do that and still hear the person. And then, of course, you pay for your autographs, you pay for your photo ops. But I mean, that one was pretty decent because it was only like $65 to get in for the weekend. So, it
was, ours was like that. But my thing is that why did they have to split Gotham, which is obviously comic books, over with The Walking Dead? That made no sense.
I don't even know, because the last time when I went, they didn't have Walking Dead people. So I think it just depends. Like they don't even do Heroes and Villains anymore. They have, I think they've merged with another convention as well. So it's just different. But I'm trying to think. Going back to the original question, I don't think I really have like a dream convention at this point. I really want to go to an Outlander convention, one of the ones that they have overseas, but that would, if I'm able to ever do that, it'll probably be a few years before that happens. But like I said, I think I have I'm going to create a list of all the different conventions that I want to go to around the country. And at some point, I'm going to make it my point, like at least one a year, like aside from the ones that I do here locally, I want to try to do one out of state. And I'll probably try to fit that in starting next year and just kind of venture out a little bit more. But I don't know.
Mike, did you answer the question? I can't remember.
I don't think he did. Mike.
Well, since I'm relatively new to conventions, it's like I really want to go. Ann said D23. I do want to do D23, if only so I can get in and see like what's coming up for Marvel and stuff. Same reason I want to go to Comic-Con.
Mhm.
I want to get into Hall H so I can see what's coming out like before
Right.
everybody else. But I'm a blabbermouth, so I probably end up no, I'm not. I wouldn't tell.
You can't keep his mouth
I
shut.
can't do that. I could probably about that. It'd be hard, but I could probably keep it a secret.
You probably would have to, because people will probably really try to hurt you if you blab that.
Look,
probably
Hall
would.
H,
You're not
Hall
lying.
H is huge. I saw the best thing you could possibly see at Hall H. I saw the very last Lost panel at Hall H, and the entire cast was there. It was a good year. What can I say?
Nice.
Yeah. I think Hall H is kind of my bucket list thing. That's when I really want to do Hall H like badly. Like I just want to be there so I can see him walk across the stage and just like, see something that no one else will be able to see unless you're there. Like I think that'd be really cool.
Casey and I talked about maybe trying to see if we could get in for next year, because we know that Andy Lincoln and Denai Guerrero will be there promoting the Rick and Michonne show. They already said that this past summer. We were like, oh, we may have to try to go. The only problem is Comic-Con takes place right around the same time as pre-planning for our school district. So that would not be an ideal time for me to take off, considering I'm the administrative assistant for like 3 different departments. So,
well, that could be a problem. But see, the actual issue that a lot of people have, it's not as easy as it used to be, is your press pass. Because when everyone started podcasting, if you had a dedicated amount of listeners and you had a letterhead and they were really sticklers, you could get press passes to just about any convention. Now they want you to have a listenership of like 20,000 people.
Yeah, they want to see your
verified.
viewers. They want to see your stuff.
Yeah.
Your numbers.
And see, I don't think that's fair. I don't think that that's fair to normal, regular people who are podcasting for fun versus people who are making it a cottage industry, and like Michael Rosenbaum. You see what I'm saying? So
because I mean, Dragon Con is the same way. Like if I wanted to do a press pass, I wouldn't qualify because we don't have the numbers. Because that's not really why we started this. Yes, I would love to have those kinds of numbers, but I started the podcast because I needed an outlet to talk about my geek stuff.
Right.
And the pandemic was here and I didn't have anybody to talk to, and there were no conventions to go to. So, but I just want to go I'll go as a fan. I don't care. And if I just happen to be able to get my foot in the door any other kind of way, okay, that's cool. But I mean, I just want to go and just experience that once, because from what I have a friend who's gone to both. She's been to Comic-Con, she's been to Dragon Con, and her advice was, if you want to go for this, if you want something to go to for the swag, go to San Diego Comic-Con.
Right.
But if you're looking for the fan experience, like the genuine fan experience, come to Dragon Con. And I was like, oh, okay. So at least I know that if I want to go get some cool swag and, maybe see some of the bigger stars that I know will probably never, ever show up at Dragon Con, then I'll try to go there. But I mean,
but you never know. Like Brandon Ruth has been at Dragon Con.
Yeah.
So has Jason Momoa. I mean,
but see, Jason Momoa came to Dragon Con when he was still, I won't say relatively unknown, but
he was just in Stargate.
It was like, and literally he had just started. Yeah, he had just started on Stargate, because that was the first year I went, 2007.
So Hayden Panettiere was there. I mean, that was huge.
Well, I've noticed that over the last couple of years, pre and post pandemic, Dragon Con's getting a lot more top tier people showing up, which is awesome. They've been
getting top tier people for a long time.
Yeah.
What I mean by this,
because like LeVar Burton, I saw LeVar Burton there twice.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, people like me who not necessarily wouldn't be going there because it's in Atlanta. Okay, I have never had a desire to go to Dragon Con, mainly because that means going all the way to Georgia and all that other stuff. It's just never been one of those things on my list. But I started paying attention over the last couple of years. I'm going, hey, they got some really good people.
Yeah.
That would be
Stan
worth
Lee was
going.
there. We saw
Right.
Stan Lee.
Right.
You know?
And so
Couldn't
Gil
get into that
Gerard
panel
was there.
because
You-
it
and
was
Brandon got in there.
full.
nobody could do
We
that. Bill.
barely got in there. We got in there towards at the end of the line. We got in there though.
But my thing is, for somebody like me who's been going to conventions for a very long time, now certain conventions I want to go to, I've had tickets to. I've had tickets to Emerald Con 5 times. I haven't not gone for 5 times because of various reasons. Dragon Con has never been on my list. Would I go? Yes, if I had an opportunity. My husband, he's from Georgia. No, because then I have to go home and visit my family. But fair enough.
No, you don't.
No, you got to tell them.
You don't. I have a best friend who comes to Dragon every year, and she does not visit her family when she's here. She's like, when I'm here for Dragon Con, I'm here for Dragon Con. I am here with my other family. I will see y'all later.
You gotta realize we ain't snitches. We ain't gonna tell them we ain't supposed to tell.
Well, I think the other thing that
We'll
that
post the
gets him-
pictures after once you're back in California.
Well, the other thing that gets him, because I've explained this to him several times, he's 55, and he's like, I don't want to go between hotel to hotel to hotel. He goes, I want everything to be in one hotel.
That's part of the fun.
Yeah, well, he's
trying
like,
to figure out where you're supposed to go.
See, that's his thing. His thing is like, I'll go, but he's like, I'm conditioned for one location. Okay. And he goes,
depending on how you get there, you honestly, because there's so many sky bridges now that connect the hotels, it's almost like just from walking, like you're in the same location, it's just separated by bridges. But if you're somewhere else, like if you're going to the vendor mart, which is in a building that's like 2 blocks away, like for Mike and I, we were trying to get back for a panel, and they have these little Uber scooters. They're called Birds, and you can buy some time on it and ride them up the street. And that's what we did. I was like, hey, let's get on the scooter. And it's the most fun thing that I will probably never do anywhere else except while I'm trying to get back and forth to Dragon.
Back it up. Did I hear you correctly when you said that the vendor room was 2 blocks away?
The vendor area is in the America's Mart, and it takes up 4 floors of the America's Mart.
Fucking huge.
4 floors full of vendors.
Mark's not doing that.
Yeah, and I think the top floor is mainly comic book artists.
This artist gallery.
So here's the thing. I know the parade is awesome, and I've seen it a few times on streaming and stuff. But other than that, I think that the thing that I find different about Dragon Con, which has fascinated me, is the different tracks that they have. You got the Star Trek, the fantasy track. Those fascinate me because no other con is set up that way. The only con that is close to that is Emerald City Con. Is close to that. And TARDIS Con is sort of like that too, but they have the different eras of the doctors. My thing is that because of the pandemic and because of the way life has been for the last 2.5, 3 years, and the cons were before, like Stephen Amell walking out with a garbage bag full of $750,000 in cash because he was at different Comic Con and people just kept signing and he kept, all the money and all this stuff. Do you think that with the culture, the way that it is now, do you think that the cons will ever go back to that type of craziness hype? Or do you think that because of the pandemic, things will just be really slow for the next 3 or 4 years until people are 100% secure that they can go to a place and not get COVID?
Well, I would say this for Dragon Con, even though like the first year that we came back, 2021 last year, they capped the attendance at half of what they usually do. The last few years prior to the pandemic, I think the attendance was like at 85,000.
Almost 90, yeah.
Yeah, last year I think it was at 45. And even with half the people,
it was still a lot.
It was not what you just considered slow. No, there you can't be slow at Dragon Con. There's
Okay.
always something going on. There's always stuff to do. And it's just there's no way. I think they could even reduce it further than that, and it's still going to be busy. It's still going to be, yeah. I just
And
now
I
for
think
the
this
smaller
year,
conventions,
this year Dragon Con was back up to around 80. I think
was
it's
it?
82, 80. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I thought it was. I thought it was like 60.
No, the last numbers I saw said 80.
Okay. But yeah, the smaller conventions maybe, but I've only been attending the smaller conventions regularly since like I think my first conjuration was in 2015, 2014, 2015, one of those. And it's smaller, so you don't have the crowd size. So like we talked about conjuration a few episodes ago, like our largest panel audience was probably maybe 28 to 30 people, because the convention itself probably caps out at about, I would say maybe about 500 people, if that. So it's very small, but it's very intimate. And like I said, even though there's not as many things to do, there's still always something to do. So I think it just depends on the type of convention that you're going to and what experience you're looking for. Like I said, Dragon Con is just always busy, always busy. This was my 15th year at Dragon Con, always busy. So I don't think the pandemic hurt it in that sense. You have the people who came and there were people who stayed away because they didn't feel comfortable with the crowds. But I will say this too, even with all of those people, even last year, they had the mask mandate last year. This year they had it pretty much, but I never felt unsafe, which is weird considering the large amount of people that was there. I never felt unsafe. I never felt exposed or like I was being put into a position I didn't want to be in with the pandemic. And that, I think, says a lot about the way Dragon Con is and how much they care about their attendees and the diligence that they take in making sure that everything is the way it needs to be set up for everybody's safety.
Okay. Because like I said, I was curious because a lot of my friends who go to conventions, local conventions out here in California, they have a lot of smaller ones that have popped up over the last 3 or 4 years. Sacramento, just itty bitty tiny ones. There's genre specific. There's a pretty decent Power Rangers one that they have out here too, which surprised me because I'm like, oh, okay. I love Power Rangers, but I was just shocked that they actually have one in one of the little small towns. But I was curious. I think that events like the one you're going to this weekend is probably going to be more of the norm these days for people like me. It's like, oh, we're gonna give you tickets to go see the premiere of something. Okay, I can do that. Am I gonna go to a full-blown con for 2 or 3 days? Probably not. My husband has a joke that we've had for the last 2.5 years, and he says we won't really do anything significant until 2025. And he's only half joking. Okay. Because remember, we were the ones that were on the cruise right before they quarantined them for 2 months. We were the last group off. So it was like, oh, because if we would have been on that ship, we would have lost our jobs, whatever, because quarantine for 2.5 months. So for us, we're like, okay, we're going to go visit family because there's a reason why we have to visit family, because we, want to see various people. But other than that, we're still not traveling a whole lot. We're still not doing a whole lot. When I do my 5K, I'm going to be masked up no matter what with gloves on because I'm still paranoid. I don't know. It just depends on, like I said, how comfortable you feel.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it was one of those decisions where, especially last year, I felt like I needed to do it because I needed, like, conventions for me are kind of like a vacation. It's where I get together with people like you guys and I get to talk nonstop about fandom stuff and about my geekiness and about my shows and this kind of stuff. And not being able to do that in 2020 fucked with my mind a lot, just because I felt so cut off from everything. at that point. And, most of my other friends in real life, like my really, really, the people that I'm around a lot, they're not into stuff like that as much as I am. And even like my best friends who are, for the most part, we're all in different places. So it was just different. So I had to really sit there and think about it like, okay, do I really want to risk this to go be around people again? And I was like, I kind of feel like I had to. It was something that I felt like my soul and my spirit needed. And I felt so much better after that. So yeah, it's one of those things about comfort level. But when I can't do that, then I mean, like I said, that's why I started this. And, us being able to talk about the shows that we like and our experiences, even our past experiences, our experiences growing up as Black nerds, getting teased about liking this kind of stuff. Those are the kinds of things I'm like, yeah, I kind of need the outlet for this type of thing. So yeah, I'll be at conventions until whenever, because that's my peeps. That's my happy place. That's my happy place. So, and we have a lot of fun. Like I can remember times when, like, I think maybe a few years after I started going to Dragon Con, that was when I really started taking days off. And I remember Anthony would be at work and then he would literally come find us on Friday night. And I remember one year in particular, you came and found us and you literally just laid yourself on the floor like, oh my God, I'm here, and laid there for 15 minutes because he was so glad to be there. So, stuff like that makes it a lot of fun, just being able to hang with people and talk to people and see, the different cosplays. And then we talk about that. Like I remember, I think it was 2019, it might've been the year before the pandemic. There was a group who were walking through and I'm sitting here with my friends on the floor and I hear Party Man by Prince playing. And I was like, oh, wait, hold up. When I tell you, I got my old ass up so fast off that floor and took off running to see a group cosplaying as Jack and his little disciples from the Party Man scene in Batman. I mean, they had the costumes, they had the big boom box, and they were playing, they were doing the dance. They were literally recreating the scene. I was like, this is what I'm here for. I can go home now. I feel like conventions are one of those things, like you have to be there to experience some of this stuff. Like you can see pictures and be like, oh, that's so cool. But the experience of actually seeing that stuff and seeing the people actually act in, in character, there's just no substitute for that at all. But, okay, we've been talking about conventions for a while. So let's kind of move on a little bit, just because, again, it's been a while since we've all been on the same show or episode talking about shows, because I think Lori, you fell behind with House of the Dragon. That's why you weren't with us on that. And same with Mike, because I think when House of the Dragon started, Mike, I think that was when you went to Alaska, correct? And then you came back and you were, I think at that point it was already like 2 episodes in and you hadn't had a chance to get caught up. And we just decided, okay, you know what? We kind of need to go ahead and push through. So we started doing it. But again, now it's like, okay, so what are we going to talk about next? Because I know we still, like Anthony, Michelle, and I, we still need to finish up House of the Dragon. We have one more episode to talk about. That's the finale episode.
We need to finish The Boys.
We do. And I didn't realize until Michelle said something. She was like, yeah, because you guys never talked about the episode and I need y'all to talk about the episode. I said,
we left off on it.
Because you went to Alaska.
I know.
So we didn't talk about.
Fine, blame my mom for turning 75.
No, we're not blaming.
No.
We are not blaming, because believe me, if you're gonna go to Alaska to celebrate anything, that is definitely a celebration. But it's kind of like starting from the summer. Yeah. Like I think, let's see. You went on vacation. I think Anthony and Michelle, I think y'all may have gone on vacation maybe the week before that.
Yeah.
And then I went back to work on site and I had to get adjusted to that.
You went back to work on site, and then I went out of town. I did a small vacation, and in between that, we did Dragon Con, we did Conjuration. Michelle, Casey, and I did the camp, and then also just regular life. Everybody, y'all have marriages and children, and we have jobs that we have to do, and I'm in school, and it's just been like, oh my God, when are we going to find the time to talk about, like, there's so much stuff that we haven't even gotten to cover that I'm like, I really want to talk about. And I know there are some things, I think we've all had discussions. There are some things that we probably will not be able to cover episode to episode like we want, just because there's too much freaking good TV out there. We still haven't talked about Miss Marvel. We still haven't talked about She-Hulk. We haven't talked about Stranger Things. We haven't talked about The Sandman. Interview with the Vampire just finished up. I'm like, there's too much stuff. How are we supposed to keep up with all this? But this is exactly what we wanted to do when we started podcasting, right? We were like, hey, we want to be able to talk about our stuff. We just, it's very time consuming. There's way too much stuff out there, but I don't want to tell the creators, okay, please lose your creativity for a couple of months. Just to give us a chance to catch up.
Well, and then there's the stuff on Netflix that are just random stuff. Now, I don't watch it, but everyone's been going gaga over the Jeffrey Dahmer series.
I absolutely will not be watching that.
I'm not either, but I'm just saying there's just been stuff like that. I'm just using it as an example. Cobra Kai. Okay. Cobra Kai is still hitting it out the park. Okay. People are loving it. I haven't watched them, saving it for Thanksgiving. That's another show that I would like to talk about.
And then there's stuff like Andor is probably the best show on television.
I am going to get caught up with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I've only seen the first episode, and then I was like, there's too much going on. I can't do this, because I think when Andor came out, it was Andor, She-Hulk was out, Interview with the Vampire was out, House of the Dragon was out, The Walking Dead had come back. I was like, there's too much. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Did we even talk about Kenobi?
No, we haven't gotten around to that either.
That's what I was thought.
That's what I'm saying. There's too much. Like, okay, and the listeners, y'all are gonna laugh at us. So when this Powerball like hit the really big numbers, we tried. We all went in. We pulled money together, and we played for like maybe, I think, 2 weeks straight. And we were like, y'all, we got to win this money so we can all retire and just be full-time fangirls and fanboys. We really did try. It just didn't work out for us.
Not for lack of trying, but
not for lack of trying.
And I'm still not convinced that Lori didn't go down to LA and buy a ticket, and she just ain't telling us.
No, I wouldn't do any of that. Though somebody in California did win $2 million on the Mega the other day, and I'm like, they're probably in LA because that's usually what happens. No, but okay, Ms. Marvel. I'm just gonna put this out here. Ms. Marvel was probably the most fun and the most educated, meaning educating people as a viewer, geek show that I've seen in a very, very long time. It was phenomenal. She-Hulk, I haven't finished She-Hulk yet, but what I've seen of it, awesome. And
what episode are you up to?
3rd episode.
Oh yeah, you got a lot of good stuff.
To go.
Like I said, I got
even scratched the surface yet.
I really haven't.
I got addicted to Peloton and haven't looked back. But the thing is that between those shows from the summer and what's been going on, and now I'm really sort of geeking out. And I know Daredevil shows up. I think that the thing is that it used to be where there was nothing on TV, that you had to. Your choices of geek stuff was Supernatural, Smallville, maybe Heroes,
and a few things kind of like splattered in between.
Right. Lost and all that. And now it's like you have too much to watch. I mean, and then the thing is that not only do you have too much to watch, you've got good stuff and you've got bad stuff. Bad Batch, really bad, really, really bad. Don't watch Bad Batch. But the thing is that it's Star Wars, right? But we have with the Mandalorian. But I still haven't seen Mandalorian. I still haven't seen Boba Fett. You've got Andor.
What?
You've got Kenobi.
What?
No. It just doesn't. It just didn't get my attention. I'm just being honest.
I will just tell you this.
We never talked about The Witcher, and
Henry that's one of my favorites.
Is leaving, and we're gonna get someone else to play The Witcher.
But Henry Cavill is leaving because he is officially back as Superman, which I got spoiled about that because I still haven't seen Black Adam yet, but I got spoiled about that. I don't even think the weekend was over.
Okay, all right. Here's my 2 cents. I love The Witcher. Love it. I think it's pretty much one of the better shows that they've done. Having one of the Helmsworth boys take place of a girl, to me, okay, here's what it sounds like. Sounds like Henry Cavill, who we all love, is a pretty phenomenal actor. He's in his late 30s, I think he's 39. Got booted off of a major franchise, Superman, went and found work. He's in Enola Holmes, and he's done a couple things. He found work to keep him busy, to keep him in the public eye. Witcher hit. Now that he's gotten a little bit of shine on him, as a Witcher fan, I listen to a few different Witcher podcasts, and I have to listen to the latest episode to see what they say. I think it's a disservice because they only have really one season left. Season 4, because they filmed 3 already. Why couldn't he have stuck it out? I mean, why do that? Because it's going to screw up everyone.
No. What happened was the showrunner is, from his perspective, they're not keeping in tradition with the character.
Yeah, like, I think they're deviating from.
They're deviating, and they're doing things, and they're having an issue between him and the showrunner. He feels like the character should be more closer to the portrayal in the book because that's what everyone likes, the book and the game.
Right.
The showrunner, like most showrunners of properties that was not theirs, they want to make it theirs. They want to change things. They want to adjust things. They want things to be different. And the people who like Henry Cavill, who like is the encyclopedia of The Witcher walking around this set, is telling them, no, this is not how he would be. This is not how this story should go. And he just had enough of it. And that's pretty much how that goes.
Okay.
Because I remember an interview where he was like, he was down with The Witcher till it ended.
Right.
And so when that announcement came, I was like, what the fuck did they do? Like, yes, I understand he's coming back as Superman. Great. I have no problem with that. I love him as Superman. But him as he fought so hard for this.
Yeah.
Right, which is why I was very upset when I saw the news.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where he would get, like, I can envision him getting a script. He make notes. He puts his notes on the scripts and send it back to the showrunner. And the showrunner scratches out his notes and says, no, we're going to do it this way. And he's like, but this is not Geralt. Like, this is not what he would do. This is not how the story should go. And they're like, no, this is what we want to do. I'm done.
Yeah.
Because he can sit back and when they do it, he can say, see, this is not true to the character. And this happens, I'm going on the soapbox now and then I'll be done. This is happening all throughout our shows. It's happened with Halo. Like, we're not going to talk about Halo, but the showrunners on the Halo show, they're like, oh yeah, this isn't going to have anything to do with the game or the books or anything. It's completely original. And people are like, but then it's supposed to be Halo. So then don't call it Halo if it's not Halo. The same thing with The Wheel of Time, as much as I like The Wheel of Time, 85% of it is not in the books because the showrunner thinks he can do it better than what's in the books. Like, oh yeah, we're going to get to the same place that the book gets, but we're just going to get there differently. Well, you change.
Yet another thing we have to finish, by the way, but proceed.
Yeah. So you're having this happen where these showrunners they're letting their ego get in the way of the material, and I don't know. I can see where his frustration is, especially being the person who's involved in the show. And he's like, these people don't know what they're doing. So he quit.
Yeah. And I mean, especially him being as huge a nerd as he is, you know, I can see him wanting to stay true to the source material because, I mean, again,
What
like
else
you
would
said,
he? That's why he wanted to do it.
right. And like you said, he is the walking encyclopedia for, I mean, I've watched the after shows for especially the most recent season of The Witcher. And it's basically like, okay, if they had a question about what one of the characters do, oh, let's find Henry. Henry, what would such and such do? Or how would this? So I can understand that frustration. It's like, and this is something that we've said, and you know, I've said this many times here on this podcast. I have said this on Dragon Con panels. Lori's gonna laugh because I'm about to bring up Shadowhunters and the Mortal Instruments. We talk about this all the time. Like, you have this story and you have a built-in fan base because of these books. And when you announce that you are about to do an adaptation or you're about to bring this to screen, you already have a built-in fan base because we love the story that is in the books. So why would you make changes that make absolutely no sense and don't really serve the story in a way and alienate your fan base? There are certain instances in which this has taken place and it makes more sense than the books did. Shadow and Bone is a prime example,
right?
You know, because they took characters from two different versions within the same, two different stories within the same universe. They merged them and they made the story cohesive. Even the author was like, oh my God, I'm so glad they thought to do this because it does make a lot of sense. It works with Shadow and Bone. It doesn't work with a lot of other things.
Well, Shadow and Bone, I agree 100%. And like I said, you know, that was very smart. But as far as Shadowhunters is concerned, I read the books after the series. Okay. And I agree with you. Okay. But if I had never read any of the books and just watched the movie and then watched the series, I would have been perfectly fine. It's fluff. Okay. Mm-hmm. But as far as tearing stuff down and making it horrendous, Mortal Instruments. Remember that movie? About the city?
See, that's the thing, because I'm a huge fan of the movie because the movie is closer to the books than the show is.
Yes, but then you get to the second and third books, you're like, what the hell happened?
Well, see, that's because Mortal Instruments, the film, they took one key piece of information.
Yep.
And the way that they presented it in the movie was so different from the way it was presented in the books. And it actually screwed up the story, because when you read the books, that one piece of information makes you wonder about it for the next two books. You don't find out the actual truth until that kind of drives the story. When you make that reveal at the end of the first movie in such a way that it never should have been, it fucked the whole story up. That's why they didn't.
It did.
And the thing is, no one is saying that making an adaptation of an existing property is easy. We know it's not easy,
right?
But there's a reason
keep the
why
things that
popular.
Made us love it.
Right. You take that away, then no one's gonna care about it, or people are gonna trash it.
Well,
but I really believe that it does have a lot to do with the showrunner's ego, and to a lesser extent, when you see something like American Gods and what happened with American Gods, and I mean, I'm not gonna get into it, but you get the showrunners, they get their egos hurt because someone else is making shit more popular than the stuff that you're writing. So you just say, you know what, we're just gonna get that person out of the way, you know, and then
your show gets canceled the next season.
Your show gets canceled. It's crazy. It's crazy that they continue to let the people do this with these properties. Some hit, some miss, but like I don't understand. Well, I do understand. This is human nature. These showrunners didn't get into the position they are by being nice. They got there because of their own merit. And so they believe they know what's best.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's not the case. And you lose someone like Henry Cavill from your show because you want to do it your way and not the way that it should be done. Or Halo, where you get absolutely nobody watching the show that you thought people were going to watch.
Yeah.
You know, you wonder why your first episode has 2.5 million viewers, and then your second episode, you're down to 100,000. It's because you abandoned everybody.
It was that bad?
It was that bad. Everyone just said,
oh, gee.
Oh, okay. even saying in the beginning, everyone knew going in it was going to be different, but we didn't know it was going to be that different.
Gotcha.
Oh, poor porn stash. That's up.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, that could be a whole other podcast show that we could talk about book screen. And I think, Anthony, we talked about that with Conjuration. You were like, this could be a whole panel because we were talking about, I think we were talking about Wheel of Time, and we talked about something else. And it was like, yeah, sometimes it really does work. And then sometimes it's kind of like, yo, you had the fan base here. Like, just make it the way that it was supposed to be made. You know, and I understand things have to be changed because, you know, a visual medium is a little bit different. But I mean, goodness, there are some things that you just don't have to change about a character. Yeah.
You gotta remember that the fan base is the whole reason you're making the doggone show in the first place. So, I mean, if you're doing something that the fan base isn't used to and you're changing why they were fans in the first place, it's like there's absolutely no point in having the show at all,
right,
or having the movie at all.
Right.
I mean, there's no point to it. Why stray from what got you there?
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole point of you making money off of this franchise, is the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
If you change the franchise, then it's nothing. It's just like McDonald's serving fried chicken. Like, what the hell?
Yeah,
you got famous for burgers. Why aren't you making burgers? I mean, just do what you do.
Yeah, or like Burger King selling tacos.
Like, why?
I'm just saying.
I still up a little bit in my mouth.
But you know, that just reminded me, because I think I actually did a paper for school on this topic like last year. So yeah, I have thoughts to say. I have thoughts about this topic. I think we all do at some point, because we all have maybe one property where it just, yeah, y'all didn't do that right. You didn't give it the respect that it deserves. You didn't give it, and I feel like, kind of like what you're saying, Anthony, that's probably what happened with The Witcher. So, but I will say this. I know a lot of people, you know, of course, as soon as the post came out and it was Liam, and I was like, I already know what people are about to say. I already know how this conversation is about to go. They're about to dog him. They're about to throw him under the bus. They're about to be like, what? I will say this. People thought the same thing with Heath Ledger for the Joker. People thought the same thing with Robert Pattinson for the Batman. And he was amazing. I'm going to give Liam the benefit of the doubt, because I have seen him act, and I do think that he's a good actor when he has good material. You know, when he's given good material. All actors, they're not going to be perfect in everything, because you have some really, really phenomenal actors who, you know, they get stuck with some shitty writing. Okay,
yeah, but he has some insurmountable odds.
He does, but
forever compared to Henry Cavill. But I think that's going to be the least of their problems. Their problems are going to be people are going to see the story, and they're just going to abandon the show. And it's not going to have anything to do with him. It's going to have to do with what the material, what they're going to do with this character. And that's going to cause people to leave.
And the prequel that comes out in December, that's going to affect it too. But as far
I'm
as
so ready for that.
I can't wait. But I'm gonna say, to your counterpoint, I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm only gonna say 2 words: Stargate Universe. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Meaning the idea, the trailer looked hot. Okay, the trailer was like, oh my God, they're gonna combine Stargate and Stargate Lands, and we're gonna get this great cast. And then you get it and you watch it, and you're like, the hell did they do to my Stargate? That's all I'm saying.
I don't care. It's Michelle Yeoh. I will watch it if it goes up in flames. It's Michelle Yeoh.
I'm talking about Liam in the new season, not Michelle.
Oh, okay. You know what? I will say this as far as Liam.
And I agree with Anthony.
I think you're gonna have to go in not expecting Henry Cavill's Geralt. You can't do that. Especially if they're changing the story. I feel like with them changing the story, if they're making him be a different version of the character, if they're writing him in an uncharacteristic way to the canon, maybe make it easier for Liam to transition into that role, because it technically won't be the same character if they're changing him from what he is in the books. So maybe that will help him in that sense. But either way it goes, I'm gonna give it a shot. You know, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, because why not? What am I gonna do? Not watch it? No. So yeah, I think it'll be fine. And if it's not, then we'll just get one season where it's just not. And I mean, at that point, what can you do? But I'm gonna be hopeful, and I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm excited to see what he does with it. And I feel like, I don't know, I just give him the benefit of the doubt, people.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll be fine.
I mean, think about it. A lot of people did.
People are just going to not watch it because it's not going to be what they expect from the character.
Right.
I mean, and it's not, like I said, it's not going to have anything to do with him. This is the story, and what they plan on doing with the character is it's going to make it difficult for people to want to stick around.
Right.
When they're like, this is not in character for this character.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm just saying.
Well, at least we still do get a season of Henry Cavill as the Witcher, because Liam won't take over until they start filming season 4, and we still haven't gotten season 3 yet. So that's the good thing.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Shadow and Bones second season should be premiering hopefully sometime in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully. It feels like it's been a long time.
It's been almost, that will be what, 2 years?
Yes.
That's a long time. Yeah. I mean, don't get me
wrong. That's what it is with these Netflix shows.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Okay. Didn't Netflix say that they were going to stop doing the all season drop on shows? Some of the shows they're doing once a week. Is that still a thing?
I hope not, because I mean, that's one of the reasons why I like the Netflix shows. I like being able to sit and binge, like give me my show.
They did say they were going to start doing that with some of their shows, though.
Yeah, because the Great British Bake Off, they're doing one episode at a time. They've been doing that for like 2 seasons now.
I don't think that would be in their best interest to do that, because I think that gives them an advantage.
Not with genre shows.
Yeah, that gives them an advantage over Amazon. I mean, I don't mind the once a week, but it's really nice to go to Netflix and I can watch the whole season drop and spend that weekend watching that season.
Yes, I curled up on my couch with my coffee or my wine or whatever.
And if they want to, they could do what they did with Stranger Things. They
did that with Manifest too.
Do like 16 episodes, drop 7, wait,
right.
Drop 5, wait, drop 3. I would be okay with that.
No, I would not.
They did that with Manifest because Manifest. They dropped like 4 or 5 episodes, and then they're saying part 2 is going to be in January or something like that.
I don't want it.
I'm okay with that, with like a month.
No.
Maybe 5 weeks between.
Give me all my shit now.
I'm okay with that.
No,
I could live with that, but like I said, but see, the problem is with this, and I'm going back to Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai is usually only 10 episodes, okay? And Cobra Kai is released once a year. They're in season 5. We may get 1, maybe 2 more seasons, and then of course they'll be out. But my thing is that they're so addictive. I would actually prefer for them to drop 3 and then do one a week until they get like halfway, and then go away for 3 months, and then come back and then drop the other 5. Because, like, if you sit and watch Cobra Kai, then you have to wait another year, maybe year and a half, just to get the next season. I need to see the hall fights.
This is what I want. I want them to come up with a show. I can't think of a plot. It's 15 episodes, right? And the way they do it, they drop 5 episodes, drop 4 episodes, 3, 2, and then the finale.
No.
And I think that would be
No.
incredible because
No.
people will be
No.
like, "Oh my God,
No.
did you?" And you're just waiting for the
Mm-mm.
next, and it's the
No, because
countdown
once you get
to
to
the last
the 2
episode.
episodes, you're gonna be so mad after watching that second episode that you gotta wait for the
Because you
finale.
know they're gonna leave that shit on a cliffhanger.
Yes,
No.
They'll leave you
Mm-mm.
dangling.
everyone will be on
just hanging by a
every
thread.
group
Like,
will be
yeah.
on the cliff. Will be a cliffhanger. The 5th episode will be a cliffhanger. Then you get the next 4, the 4th episode. The next 3, the 3rd episode, and that would be
So you
a
just
great
gonna
countdown
have
show.
all these cliffhangers. Ain't nobody gonna watch after the 4 after.
Yes,
the
I'm
second,
telling
third,
you. I'm
fourth.
telling
No.
you.
In the
People will be
words of Chris
waiting.
Evans' nephew, I don't like it. I don't like it. No.
That's-
Jeez.
I
No.
understood that reference.
Okay, so real quick, I'm ready for Ahsoka. I think that's going to be a great show, and I'm
Yes.
also
Yes.
ready for Star Wars Acolyte, which I think is going to be an incredible show as well. I just want to put that out there.
And they have another new
And
animated series, don't they? Tales of the Jedi.
It is amazing.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna
I
say
need
that.
to get caught up on all of the Star Wars stuff. Like I need to get caught up on Andor. I still need to go back and watch the animated series because, like I said, I do want to. I want to start my Star Wars education from scratch and then go all the way through because there's so much that I'm not privy to because I haven't watched like the animated series. I haven't watched Clone Wars. Like I said, I only got through 1.5 episodes of Andor. And then I just I was like, okay, I don't have time to concentrate on this right
Andor
now.
is fucking
I
amazing.
know. I see it every week on Twitter. Everybody is like, if you are not watching Andor right now, why? I'm like, I don't have time in my schedule.
Well, see,
It
here's
is
the thing.
everything that the Han Solo movie should have been like.
Well, see, that's the thing I hear because if it's as good as you say it is, and I personally thought Kenobi was mind-blowingly good. Okay.
Oh my God.
I
So if
disagree.
it-
loved
It
so
wasn't
if it-
mind-blowingly good. It had some good moments and it ended on a decent note.
I
Well,
love
what I'm
it.
saying is if I'm impressed myself with Kenobi, I can only imagine because that, like you said, wheelhouse stuff, Andor. Okay, seriously,
Mhm.
wheelhouse stuff. So I'm thinking, well, this ought to be awesome, right? And you know, I have enough vacation that I was going to take the entire month of December off, but my boss was like, "Don't do that to me." I'm like, fine, whatever.
I
So
wish I could take a month off. Do you?
That'd be nice.
Do you?
I have 4 months of vacation, literally, because of the pandemic. I was home, so
I wish.
so my boss was like, "Don't do that." So I said, "Okay, this is what I'm gonna do." I said, when I start my vacation, I'm gonna take a couple of days off for Thanksgiving. I said, I'm saving everything. So I've got Cobra Kai saved. I've got the Lord of the Rings saved. I have She-Hulk, and basically I've got I still have all the Star Treks. I've only seen one episode of Strange New Things. Okay, one episode. Okay, I still haven't finished Picard. I still haven't finished Discovery, and I'm a Star Trek person. Okay, so
Yeah, I was gonna say that's like really weird to hear you say.
I haven't seen Lower Decks. I haven't seen the one with Janeway where I forget the name of that thing even. What is he called? I haven't seen the Orville. It's like I've got like and not even counting my murder mysteries. Okay, I've got probably 6 months of TV that I haven't even cracked yet.
We need to hit this mega million.
I know. See, my dream is to wake up in the morning, you know, work out, watch my geek stuff, go to Whole Foods, go to Trader Joe's, come back home, work out again, cook a good dinner, and then watch geek stuff. That's pretty much what I want to do all day.
Yeah, that's kind of me too. I sit at work and I'm just like doing stuff and I'm like, okay, so I remember we were talking about such and such on this episode, so I need to make sure that I'm like sitting here thinking about podcast stuff and planning while I'm working, and I'm like, this is not working. So it's a welcome reprieve when people like Anthony come in my office and start talking geek stuff, or when any of his coworkers come in or my coworkers come in. But it's just like, if I could take a whole month off, oh my God, I could get so much done.
Well, on the other side, I'm sort of jealous because even though I work in engineering, oddly enough, they're not really geeks. Believe it or not, they are probably the least nerdiest people I've ever met in my entire life.
Boring.
I'm mystified. I'm literally mystified how they can be engineers, but at the same time, not geeks. Doesn't compute. But my thing is that we love this stuff. We love this stuff, for forever. And it's always going to be something that we are going to, do. But I am glad that I finally hit a podcast where they've got 200 episodes. I mean, I did the Fixer and all that. I think we got up to like 113 or something like that. But I'm honored to be on this podcast. I'm honored to be a part of it. Again, thank you for letting me be a part of this and hopefully continue and all that stuff. But this is kind of a cool milestone because not a lot of Black podcasts get past 50 episodes.
Yeah.
200. That is something, to really be proud of, Hanako. And you're the leader of this group and you've really pulled everybody together. And I just want to say thank you. This is awesome.
Oh,
The boss lady.
Yes.
Boss lady.
It's been fun. I mean, and when you think about it, we've only been in existence for 2 years. So we've been doing a lot of talking. And it's been fun. And I'm looking forward to more talking. I'm looking at this list. So for people who can't see this, I have a list of like the podcasts that we're doing for the rest of the year because, of course, the holidays are coming up. Thanksgiving is next week. We have Christmas in a few weeks. So everybody's everybody's schedule is going to be kind of crazy. But I'm sitting here looking and it's like, okay, so before the end of the year, we have to cover House of the Dragon, the season finale. We already have done Black Panther. That's in editing right now. Walking Dead episodes 21, 22, 23, and 24. Those have to come out. We still have to do our birthday episodes because we haven't had a chance to really do those this year. We did Mike's and the audio was kind of messed up. So we're going to push those to the end of the year. So Mike wants to talk about Real Genius. And then Lori, I think you said you wanted to do a couple of episodes of Titans, correct?
Yes, I want to do the Hawk and Dove episodes. There's actually 3 episodes, but we can do these 2. They bookend each other. So yeah.
Yeah. So and Titans, that's the show that Joseph Morgan is on now, right?
Yes,
as Brother Blood.
Brother Blood, yes.
Okay. So that might compel me to watch the show.
Oh, it's really good.
We'll see.
Really good.
And I know Casey wants to do Kung Fu Hustle. I haven't decided yet what I want to do because I keep changing. So I'll know by the time we get around to it. Anthony, what are you planning to talk about this year?
I'm still thinking.
You're still thinking. Okay, what about Michelle? Has she thought of something yet? She still has not stuck her head in to say hello. Get off the couch and stick your head in, Michelle.
She's
the
not
knife.
Yeah.
She is wrapped up in a comforter and a blanket and it's cold.
Well, I was gonna say, as cold as it is, I don't blame her. So good for her. But
I'm leaning.
I'm trying to find the cooties.
What'd she say?
Oh, what she say?
She works around elementary school kids, so they are dropping like flies with illnesses.
Oh yeah.
So she's trying to stay out of that.
I don't blame her.
I was thinking about The Last Starfighter, but I don't know. I've got a couple of other ones I'm thinking.
Okay.
See, that went along perfectly with the first one you did.
Yeah.
Battle Beyond the Stars, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
By the way, that was the greatest movie podcast episode we ever did.
That one was a lot of fun. That one was a lot of fun.
It was.
But so we have those, and then starting out next year, I think I'll probably start out the 2023 with our Wheel of Time episodes because we actually did record the first, I think 7, And then, of course, like I said, everything started coming out all at once. So we were like, okay, we have to pick and choose. So I think we're going to start out 2023 with Wheel of Time. And then we got to find something to discuss where we can get Lori back on, because it's been too long since she's been on one. And then, I don't know, there's a lot of stuff coming out next year. We've got Marvel stuff coming out next year. Avatar, the new Avatar movie is coming out in a couple of weeks. I'm just like
Shazam.
I just watched the movie
out.
with blue people in water. I don't want to watch another one.
I'll go watch. I mean, I will say this: the last trailer, the most recent trailer for Avatar, it's pretty, but I'm kind of like, is it telling one of the same stories that we've like always seen? I don't know. I'm gonna go watch it just because I've seen the first one. I want to see what the second one is like. I just want to see if it was worth the 50-year wait that we had between first and second.
I've never seen the first one.
Now, the first one, I will say this: the movies are visually stunning. The ride at Animal Kingdom in Florida, oh my God, that's like one of the best theme park rides ever.
Really?
Oh my God, it's amazing. It's amazing. So yeah, I want to see it. I think I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch the first one because I haven't watched it in forever. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we're gonna have to talk about. And I know there have been a couple of things that people have suggested. So for anybody listening, if there's something that you want us to watch and cover on the podcast, drop a comment wherever you're listening to this and let us know. You know, we are on Facebook, we have Instagram, we have Twitter, we have Discord, we have YouTube. So any one of those.
I can already hear Nick typing away. Already.
I mean, hey, if they want to hear us talk about it, we'll talk about it. So, you know, I'm trying to think. I do kind of really want to do Interview with the Vampire, but then at the same time, Mayfair Witches is coming out in January too. And I'm not familiar with Mayfair Witches at all. So my best friend kind of gave me a Cliff Notes version of it. And I was just like, oh, I'm in. So
what is it on?
It's going to be on AMC Plus. It's part of Anne Rice's Immortal Universe. Yes, you need to go on ahead and just get AMC Plus, Mike.
Why?
Isn't that
you know how many other things I already have?
Isn't that Tabula Rasa stuff?
The who?
The Tabula Rasa stuff with the witches?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Think so, yes.
Then it should be really interesting then.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember basics, but not the whole thing. Because when she wrote the book Tabula Rasa, they got into it really deep.
Okay, so yeah. So that's coming out.
Percy Jackson is coming out.
Oh, yes. Percy Jackson.
And you know that's my jam.
I know.
I'm the Percy Jackson fan.
That's coming out.
And did you see who's on the show?
Yes. They just cast Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yes.
I saw that.
I was like, oh, now this is getting good.
Right.
Oh, Hanako.
Yes.
There's a trailer for His Dark Materials season 2.
You know what? That's another show that I need to sit down and watch because I watched the first episode and I forgot what it was. We were watching and covering something else at the time and I got distracted.
Shadow and Bone, I think.
It might have been.
I think it was Shadow.
But I was like, I need to finish watching this. And then I'm like, wait, there's another. No, actually, is it season 3 that they just dropped the trailer?
Isn't that
season 2?
Isn't that the one with the little girl in the
season
school?
2.
The little girl in the school and the familiars? Is that what that is?
Yes.
Okay, I thought. Yeah.
Because Lin-Manuel is in that as well.
Yeah, I started to watch it, lost interest, and I need to go back.
Okay, yeah.
And we haven't even done Umbrella Academy.
Oh my God. And
Enola Holmes. We gotta do Enola Holmes. I wouldn't mind
Enola Holmes. Yeah.
There's so much. There's so much that we're all interested in.
Manifest.
That we want to talk about. So we're gonna have to.
Manifest.
I haven't started watching that one yet, but it's on my list.
It's oddly It's like that girl said, it was the Mary Sue the other day. It's the least unlikely sci-fi show, but at the same time, once you start watching it, you get sucked in.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
We haven't even talked about The Expanse at all. You know, literally Expanse.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. It is season 3.
Yeah.
Materials. I thought it was, because I thought I saw the first seasons up there. Yeah. And then there's that fairy wick thing that's on Netflix with the fairies and stuff, which looks very kiddish but fun at the same time.
Oh, they just canceled that.
Oh no!
Yeah, you're talking about Winx what is it? Fate the Winx saga. Yeah. My son is actually watching that, and they just canceled it.
Yeah, well,
it's the curse of the cursed.
They have got a lot of stuff. I will give Netflix the props for they will basically film anything and throw it on Netflix to see where it sticks on the wall if it falls off. I will give them that. But what I'm not happy about is that for a while there, we got a lot of fantasy stuff. And now all of a sudden it's all rom-com. And I'm not a fan of rom-com.
Cursed messed it all up.
Well, no. I mean, they always have rom-com stuff come out. So I think that's kind of like one of their staples, but they are doing a lot of fantasy. They have a lot of horror content coming out. I don't know if you guys have started watching The Cabinet of Curiosities, but oh my God, that show is amazing. I've seen the first 3 episodes and I had to stop after that 3rd episode because I was like, I need a break. It's a lot, but it's so good.
Well, you know, I'm not one of these people to watch a lot of horror. I mean, once every 7 years, I might actually sit down and watch a horror film, but we haven't talked about popular stuff like Squid Game. You know, that
I haven't watched it.
I haven't either, but I know it was popular as hell. I mean, the thing
I watched it. It was good.
I heard it was awesome. But the thing is that the problem is 10 years ago, 5 years ago, well, maybe around 7, we didn't have this. The basis of this conversation is that we are in a unique point in our lives where being a nerd / geek is cool and everyone is cashing checks on it. So we got more content than we could humanly possibly digest, watch, and talk about. And that would even we won the lotto. I mean, seriously, you know.
Yeah.
But that's a good thing.
We literally would have to go to where, and I think we've even considered this just in conversations with ourselves, like maybe consolidating some of our episodes, like when you have a 10 episode season, maybe talking about 2 episodes at the time. But we all have so much to say when we watch these episodes, and then also listening to feedback from listeners. They're like, no, I like it that you guys talk about each episode individually. You know, I thought about cutting out a lot of the recapping from our episodes because I was like, okay, that takes up a lot of time. They're like, no, I like the recaps because you remind me of stuff that I forgot happened in the episode. So it's just kind of like, I think at this point, we're just going to have to pick and choose and just kind of work with it. And then maybe, you know, I don't know. We'll have to figure out something so we can talk about the other stuff. Maybe like our live show. Like we did a live stream once, and that was kind of fun because we were able to interact with listeners and people watching and answer questions. So maybe we can do something like that again, and somebody can say, "Oh, okay, so tell us what tell us what you thought of this, or tell us what you thought of that," or we can, I don't know, have one of those spinners and we just we have a topic on the thing and we spin it, and wherever it stops, that's where we talk about for that episode. We may have to do something like that because, again, like I said, there's way too much good stuff out there. I mean, we've talked about the possibility of adding a second podcast to talk about, you know, certain other things. Michelle and I talked about it when we were, as far as our Outlander show, and then we were planning to cover The Time Traveler's Wife, and then they canceled it after the first season, so that was a bummer. But I know, like, Michelle still wants to cover Bridgerton, and that is something I plan on watching. So I don't know, we're gonna have to figure some things out, but you know, we're having fun doing this, and that's the important thing, because I think that's why we're all doing it, because we need the outlet and we're having fun doing it. So I don't know. We'll figure the other stuff out. I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it. It's just a matter of, golly, there's so much other stuff we want to do and other shows we want to talk about, and we just don't have the time. Like, I don't know, can we add another day to the calendar? Can we add another 24 hours? Or can we, like, I don't know, go to a 4-day work week, which I would love to do? Or can I just like take a leave of absence every other month and just spend a whole month just doing whatever? I don't know. Mega Millions is drawing next tomorrow. Maybe I have to play that and see. And then we'll just all quit our jobs and just be full-time fangirls and fanboys. That would be fun.
It'd be nice.
Still moving.
Hey, did we ever talk about Nope?
Nope.
No.
Did you see it, Lori?
No, but I know, again, I'm famous for knowing what happens when not seeing it. It sounds exciting, actually.
It was so good.
Yeah.
And
it
we
was
didn't talk
so
about
good.
it?
Like I said, not a horror fan, but it just, first of all, just the whole cast and the whole direction and everything just sounds amazing.
I did a virtual podcast about Jordan Peele stuff for Monsterama.
He did. Great panel.
Okay.
It was a great panel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See that, and that's a whole that's a Halloween episode right there, just talking about the resurgence and the emergence of Black directors and producers and writers doing horror right. What was the one that came out? I think it was either last year or this year, about the Black lady who was a college professor, and she was in a sorority, and they gave her the house to live in, and the house was haunted. It was like ancestral slaves and stuff that were like haunting her, and it was like at Harvard or something.
I don't know. What was that?
It was a movie where she was an African-American young professor. I think it was Harvard or one of those schools. And she was given a house, a provost's house, that was like the house where all the POCs got when they got tenure. And the house was haunted by...
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, ancestral slaves that had died, that were like ancestor. Yeah, but what was the name of it? And I can't remember.
Who was in it? What's her name?
I want to say Sana Lathan was in it, but that doesn't sound right. But you know what? You're that I'm
It
not
sounds
making
really
this
familiar.
up. Yeah,
It does, but I don't know.
It sounded like probably one of the only horror films that I actually might want to watch.
But I mean, there's some good horror type stuff.
To see slaves, just to say, so tell me how life was, even though I have an idea. Yeah.
But I mean, there's some good horror stuff coming out too. And I'm also not a big horror person. Like, I watched horror a lot more when I was younger, but as I've gotten older, I don't tolerate it as well.
Yeah.
And now I've started getting back into it. But even like with, I don't want to say light horror, but just anything by Blumhouse and Mike Flanagan, I'm trying to watch. Like the Haunting of Hill House and Blind Manor, those were amazing shows.
Didn't that have that one guy from iZombie in it as the priest?
You're talking about yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yes.
Because it looked interesting, because like I said, he's one of my favorite actors because of iZombie. And I remember he was on Kevin Smith's podcast talking about being in the movie. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he was in Midnight Mass as well.
That's what it what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
You're talking about Rahul Kohli?
Yes, that's what I'm about.
I love him.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was in all three of those. And like I said, I haven't seen Midnight Mass yet, but I saw the first two. They were amazing. And then some other things that have come out in the last few years that I watched. Of course, I watched
Phone.
The
Black Phone.
The Black Phone was so good. It was so good. It was creepy. It was very 80s with that feeling, but it was so good, and it had an ending that I did not expect, and I loved it. So yeah, I mean, like I said, there's so much.
Well, and then there's non-geek that's tangentially geek stuff, like Jack Ryan, Reacher. I'd like to, not do the whole thing, but maybe talk about that in an episode because
Leverage Redemption.
fascinating, huh? And Leverage, which we now have 3 new episodes.
Wait, what was that? What did you say, Mike?
Leverage
Redemption.
Oh,
it's so good. Oh my God.
Okay.
I'm getting into it this weekend, Mike. I'm not going to wait on that. I got 4 episodes of Harley Quinn, and then I'm diving into Leverage.
Yeah, there's just a lot of good geek stuff to talk about. So we're going to have to figure that out.
Oh, by the way, if anyone needs a copy, Amazon has the complete DVD box set of Librarians for $27.
Wait, the whole thing?
Yes, I got it a few weeks ago.
Okay, Amazon wish list. Look, Secret Santa wish list.
Look, they have the original Battlestar Galactica, not the new one, but the old one, complete box set remaster. I think was $30. So they've been doing, they've been doing a lot of those remastered lately. So yeah.
Okay. Oh, all right. Well, I think we are at the 2-hour mark. So I think, of course, we could go on all night talking about all kinds of geek stuff. We've covered conventions, we've covered shows, we've covered some of everything in this episode. So I think we're gonna put this to a close. Does anybody have anything that they want to say? We have 200 episodes, y'all.
Congratulations to us all for 200 episodes.
Woohoo! We haven't killed each other yet. Yay!
We're still talking to each other.
Yeah, I know. Even with differences of opinion, that's the funny thing. I went back and listened to some of the episodes when I was finishing up the Shadow and Bone. Mike and I were really heated about this whole Darkling and Aline.
No, it's nowhere near as heated as we got during Invincible. We were talking about Amber.
Speaking of which, when the hell is that show coming back?
Soon. It's coming back soon too.
I haven't heard anything.
Now, you want to talk about a show that they actually did pretty much down the line almost better than the comic book. That's Invincible.
Yeah, I'm so ready for that show to come back. So ready.
Did anyone watch the Invincible? Not the Invincible. Did anyone watch the Boys animated short cartoons?
Nope. I plan on doing that too. I think I'm gonna try to get that out the way next weekend.
Oh, you need to. You just need to.
Yeah,
it's just good.
Yeah. So we'll get around to some of this stuff. We'll have to find the time. But for those of you who are watching or listening and have been with us from the beginning, or whether you found us somewhere in the middle, but you are listening and enjoying our content, leaving comments, leaving reviews, we thank you for being with us, for listening to us, for giving us your feedback, for telling us how much you enjoy the show, for making suggestions. Just thank you so much for supporting us during our first 200 episodes, and we hope to see you for the next 200. But for now, that is it for our show. You can find us online at www.fandomhybrid.com. We are on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Fandom Hybrid. We have a Discord channel that you can chat with us on. We have a YouTube channel that you can watch our videos on, and we are on all major podcast streaming platforms. Thanks for listening. We hope you join the conversation next time.